Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time of day it is when you hear this message, I pray that your mind, your heart, and your spirit are all poised to receive, to accept, and respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. Not everybody is fit to diagnose other people. Not everybody is fit to diagnose other people. Now, everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? But not everyone is fit to actually diagnose other people. Okay, when I say diagnose, I'm talking about to be able to determine what clinical definition explains your condition, your mental condition, your emotional condition, your psychological condition, etc. Right? I remember I was really close to someone once upon a time who was lightweight obsessed with diagnosing me. Ever so often, I don't know, maybe she would read Cosmopolitan magazine and she would take a survey and people or be online and see something show up on the news feed and say, oh yeah, that's the diagnosis. And the height of folly was the time that she tried to convince me that I had ADHD, right? Now, when I say try to convince, I mean, this person had joined ADHD support groups and all kinds of stuff and was really convinced that I had ADHD and was really actively working to convince me that different things that I did and different ways that I, managed myself reflected the fact that I had ADHD, which was really bizarre because this individual was trained as a dancer, okay? A dancer, that's it. No human services training at all, no experience in the human services industry, just somebody who's reading magazines and, putting two and two together, right? Now, I myself, the irony of it is I'm trained as a professional counselor. I've done thousands of hours of work with clinical psychologists and psychiatrists, and somehow, in spite of all these years of training, they all overlooked this impediment that, she was able to pick up by reading Cosmopolitan magazine. Right? It's ridiculous. And it's pertinent, though, to our practice as devotees within Orisha lifestyle, because a lot of times people will use these Orisha stereotypes as a way of diagnosing you when they're completely unfit to do so, right? And so, for example, in the case of this individual that I was alluding to earlier, what she was really trying to say was that I can't follow your way of thinking. The way you are defies my explanation for how people are, a normal person can be. And so because of that, I have to try to, label you or diagnose you in order to be comfortable with the fact that really the problem is just that she couldn't understand me. She couldn't grasp my approach or keep up with my line of thinking. That's really what it all boiled down to, right? Likewise, people will try to assign you to an Orisha because they haven't reconciled within themselves how they feel about you or how they perceive you. So a person may say, oh yeah, you're a daughter of Oshun. Well, what you're really trying to say is that you're attracted to that person or you find that person attractive. This person, yeah, you're a child of Ogun. Well, what they're really trying to say is, you intimidate me, right? I'm afraid of you. Things like that, but instead of really doing the work to accept what they think and how they feel, they want to project that onto you by associating you with an Orisha or another, right? And that is something that it may be flattering, right, for you, but it's misleading. It does not promote the real kinds of self-actualization and even more importantly, it doesn't promote the fulfillment of your destiny in the way that these kinds of designations are intended to do, right? I had a friend and mentor who was both an Olorisha and a practicing psychologist. And I remember, he and I would talk about this kind of a phenomenon, and as it pertained to diagnoses, right? And he hit me to an approach that he used, and I have used it since, which is, it isn't just a question of what the diagnosis is. It's a question of what kind of person has this diagnosis, right? So it isn't enough to say that this person is suffering from paranoid schizophrenia. You got to understand what kind of person is this. What's this person's temperament and their orientation? What's their life experience? Because that's going to determine how that particular diagnosis exhibits, right? So this is where we get into your Ori, the Orisha that walks with you is not as important as the quality and the properties of your Ori. What did you choose in the prenatal state? Because what you chose in the prenatal state is going to define how Oshun functions in your life, right? Oshun may function in your life to help you with victory, have nothing to do with your personality type. Shango may show up in your life, may walk with you to help you to have children. It will have nothing to do with how you come off as a person, right? So the most important thing is your Ori. It's your prenatal choice. It's what you chose before you came into the world, because that choice is what defines how different Orisha will show up in your life at different times. So for your own fulfillment, for your own completion of the mission that you chose in the beginning, it's important that you be careful of people who want to diagnose you for the purpose of controlling you. Aboru aboye, aboshishe.